What's up, Glen Rock? Today I'm joined here by the Assistant Vice Principal here at the high school, Mr. Morelli, here to tell us a little bit more about final exams.
Thank you, Connor. Good morning, Glen Rock High School and Glen Rock Middle School. So I just want to go over what the schedule is going to look like during the week of June 16th, because next week is going to be a little bit different around here. Glen Rock High School has not had final exams in a minute, and so we are excited to bring these back, mostly, to be honest, at student request. I know that might sound funny, but I think there's something to be said for having the opportunity to study for a lot of tests in a cumulative nature in a short period of time. Because regardless of what you end up doing after high school, there are times in life that you have to juggle a lot of responsibilities in a short period of time, and this does prepare you for that. So for the schedule, middle school students and high school students on Monday, June 16th, next Monday, will be on a special schedule where all periods meet. So in order to keep things cleaner and simpler, everyone is going to meet all of their classes, 1 through 8. There will be no labs for high school on Monday the 16th. So just in that regard, it's the same for everybody. Middle school, next week, June 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. You guys are on a regular schedule. You're going to your classes as normal. If you are a middle school student, you can feel free to listen to this next part, but it doesn't pertain to you. But high school students, that's when your exam schedule is going to kick in. I do want to emphasize attendance and how important it is that you guys are here. The finals count for 10% of your grade. That means that your marking periods count for 22.5% each, and then your final grade is calculated with that 10% of the final. One question that has come up is, will colleges or will your transcript reflect that actual 10%? It will be embedded in your final grade, but the actual test grade doesn't appear on the final. So the same way that your marking period grades wouldn't appear on the final, the same thing here. You're just going to have the grade that you get for the course. So how is this going to work? Every day there's going to be 2 exams. So Tuesday, June 17th, it's periods 1 and 2. Wednesday, June 18th, it's going to be periods 3 and 4. Thursday, June 19th, periods 5 and 6. And Friday, June 20th, it's going to be periods 7 and 8. And the short version is you report to your regular classroom during those exam slots for whatever final you have. So there are 2 exam slots every day. There's one from 7:50 to 9:50, so you get to school for normal time, and if you have a first slot exam, you go to your regular classroom and your teacher will proctor that test or that project or whatever your final assessment is. And then from 9:50 to 10:50, we built in time for students that get extended time. So if you don't get extended time, you're free during that period. Everybody will then have lunch from 10:50 to 11:50. The cafeteria will be open serving lunch as normal. And then the second exam slot is from 11:50 to 1:50. So at that point, you would then report to whatever period it is, to your regular class. Your teacher will proctor your test, and then that exam is over at 1:50. So again, students that get extended time from 1:50 to 2:56, we have that extra hour that's built in. If you have an AP course for which you sat for the AP exam. So if you took the AP exam in May, you don't have to take the final. If you did not take the AP exam in May, you do have to take the final. So all of you that did not take the AP test, I'm sure you are now not loving the fact that you have to sit for these AP exams. Let this be sort of a public service announcement that we encourage kids that take the AP class to sit for the test in May, and then you're done. We also are not doing finals for phys ed or health, and obviously there's no final for option. So that's basically how the schedule works.
Gotcha, thank you. So I have a question for you. If you were to finish your exam early for one of your finals, would you have to stay for the entire time that it goes on?
That's a great question. So the answer is yes. You're going to be in your classrooms during a full 2-hour exam slot. So from 7:50 to 9:50, you're going to be in that classroom. No one is going to be dismissed early from the exams themselves.
Does that stay true for students with extended time if they were to finish like halfway through their extended time period?
That's a great question too. So let's say that you have an extra hour of extended time, right? So if you get 50% extended time, that would mean from a 2-hour exam, you would get an hour extra, but you end up only using 20 minutes. So for example, let's say that you start a period 1 exam for math, 7:50. Regular time finishes at 9:50, and then your extended time continues. If you finish by 10:15, you will be dismissed at that point. You won't have to stay for the entire hour.
Gotcha. And if you have a period such as option where you wouldn't have a final exam, do you still have to come into school for that time?
You do not have to come into school for that time. So you only have to be here when you actually have a test. So, for example, if on Wednesday, June 18th, you have period 3 English and period 4 option, you would come in for period 3, you would take your final, and then at that point you're done for the day, so you can go home at that point. If you have period 3 option and period 4 science, then you actually don't need to be here until 11:50 that day. Conversely, if you have period 3 social studies and period 4 science, where you would have to take 2 exams in one day, you actually have a pretty long block, right? You're free from 9:50 until 11:50 if you were a regular time student. So during that 2-hour block, if you wanted to leave and go into town and get something to eat, we'll also have the media center open if you want to be able to study. All of that will be available to you as well.
Awesome, cool. I think that clears up any questions I had. I think this is great, very informational. I know everybody is a little nervous for finals, first time for all the high schoolers, but I think this will clear up a lot of the questions. So thank you, Mr. Morelli.
Absolutely. And so again, we encourage you, every effort should be made to get in. If you do need to make up a final, that likely will happen on either Monday, June 23rd or Tuesday, June 24th. Please contact me if you have any questions. You can find me at the high school main office where Miss Crowley sits, and we wish you all good luck. You guys are going to do great, and again, let us know if you have any questions.
Awesome. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.